Okay, now we're into the kind of headline awards. And the first of those is Best Supporting Actor. The nominees are as follows: Tom Hanks in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Anthony Hopkins in The Two Popes, Al Pacino in The Irishman, Joe Pesci in The Irishman, Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time. Last year's winner was Mahershala Ali in Green Book, one of my favorite actors. My prediction actually is Joe Pesci. I feel like The Irishman will pick up here, whether it's Al Pacino or Pesci, just because they're at that kind of stage in their career where I feel like the Academy might want to honor them a little bit and give them this spotlight. But my personal pick is Brad Pitt, because who doesn't love that tough bodyguard in Once Upon a Time, and just the real confidence and machismo he brings to that character, and especially that final sequence, which I won't spoil just in case. But yes, major props to Brad Pitt. He's also the Paddy Power favourite at 1-14.
Yes, my prediction for this is Tom Hanks in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I'm sure that we may talk about this in a future podcast episode, this film, so I won't go into all my thoughts on it. But I thought that Tom Hanks was brilliant as Mr. Rogers. And just to see him become such a famous character and person for Americans and kind of growing up in childhood for them, it was really amazing to see him as this character. And I really appreciated all the work that he put into it. And it's the kind of thing as well that when I think about it, Tom Hanks possibly watched the show that Mr. Rogers did and wanted to obviously help bring this film to life. And I think that he does a fantastic job of it. But my pick would have to be Anthony Hopkins in The Two Popes. Again, like I said, for the script, Anthony Hopkins brings this fabulous kind of seriousness, yet comedy without kind of realising. And it's basically, the film looks at when Pope Benedict wants to stop being Pope and asks Francis, who was our current Pope, to be the Pope. It's just so funny, the scene when he's like, I don't want to be Pope anymore, so you're going to do it. And then he just walks out and Francis is left on his own like, what? What? And again, it's meant to be this serious thing, but the way that they do it is so brilliant. So for me, I'd have to pick Anthony Hopkins. There is someone else, though, that I feel really does deserve this award. And it's someone who I feel that we've really got to know over the previous decade. We've only just started the new one. But you know what I mean? And that is Sam Rockwell. And I first discovered him in 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, which I would have given all the awards to when it came out. But him in Jojo Rabbit is phenomenal. And for me, apart from the little boy in it, Sam really does give the most incredible performance in that. So I would have loved to have seen him on this list.
Yeah, I second that as well. And he could have easily been on this list as well for Richard Jewell as well, which he's fantastic in. So Sam Rockwell, very unfortunate to miss out this year. Next up is a category that I feel is a rare one where I wouldn't mind if any of these won, because I love them all. And that's Best Supporting Actress. The nominees are Kathy Bates in Richard Jewell, Laura Dern in Marriage Story, Scarlett Johansson in Jojo Rabbit, Florence Pugh in Little Women, and Margot Robbie in Bombshell. Last year's winner was Regina King from If Beale Street Could Talk, underrated film, if anyone wants to give that a watch. My prediction here is Scarlett Johansson, because she is just incredibly charming in the half an hour or so she's on the screen in Jojo Rabbit. My pick is Florence Pugh. I really want to see her win an Oscar. I feel like the work she's done recently just is so deserving of one, and I'd love to see a Brit up there on stage, such a talented Brit up there on stage, winning this award. Kind of my very close second is Laura Dern, who's just one of my favourite actors around. She's just magnificent in everything she's in, and I was speaking to my brother the other week about the fact that I'd love to see her in more lead roles. But the problem is she's so good in these kind of roles, playing like the kind of secondary character, that she always seems to get cast that way. So that's a shame. But she is the Paddy Power favourite, Laura Dern, at 1-14.
Yeah, I found this one really difficult because, like you said, all these women deserve it. And if they said, all of you have got it, and they all went on stage, that'd be amazing. So it made it really difficult. But for me, when we did our podcast on Little Women, the main lady that I gave praise to was Florence Pugh. She was fantastic. And I was speaking to a friend about it the other day, just saying how I thought that her transformation from kind of a young girl to a woman, you could see in her physically, you could see in just how she spoke. And I just thought that she was fantastic. And this decade, well, the past decade, has truly been her decade to break out into this acting world. And she has been phenomenal. So even though I think everyone in this category deserves it, I think that I can't choose someone to win it. So I'm just going to say Florence Pugh because she, for me, was just my absolute favourite.
Yeah, really strong category, and fingers crossed for Florence